Avatar is everywhere again. With a new movie coming, people are going back to a story we thought we already understood. But hidden in that story is one episode that quietly changed everything. Not with a massive battle, but with something deeper. Moments people missed. Moments that redefine who Aang, and certainly Zuko, really are. Because this wasn't just a journey. This was a journey to fire itself. Let's go back to Book 3, Episode 13. This is the Firebending Masters. Most people remember this episode as Aang and Zuko searching for firebending. But while that's happening, there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. Because in this episode, the relationship between Aang and Zuko becomes crucial. From being stuck together in the ruins to the moment they stand before the dragons. And it's not just them. The side characters play a bigger role than you might think. The ancient masters, the dragons themselves. Even visually, this episode stands out. The colors, the fire, the way everything feels different. It's something a lot of people don't consciously notice, but it changes how the entire episode feels. So let's take a closer look at some of these moments. As Aang and Zuko search for patterns and understanding, they arrive at an ancient temple. To enter, they need insight, to create light using the sun and the pillars. And once they succeed, something interesting happens. Aang tells Zuko they have to perform a dance, and not long ago, that would have been unthinkable, but they do it anyway. And after the dance, they get trapped, forced to sit together, to talk. Moments like these might seem small, but they're crucial for what this episode is building toward, because this is where their dynamic really shifts. And eventually, they're found by the true masters. After the masters tell their story, Aang and Zuko are asked to climb a long path, carrying the last of their fire. At the top, they will meet the true masters. But the episode keeps that moment uncertain, because dragons were supposed to be extinct. And then, at the worst possible moment, Aang loses his fire, leaving Zuko as the only one who still has it. There's panic, and the episode leans into it, until suddenly, the dragons appear, and everything changes. What follows isn't just a test, but understanding. The dance returns, now with meaning, not something they perform, but something they finally understand. And as they pass the test, their bond grows even stronger, reinforced by the original masters themselves. And from that point on, they leave as something different than when they arrived. What makes this episode stand out isn't just what happens, it's what it changes. Because fire, up until this point, was always tied to anger, control, power. But here that idea is completely redefined, not as destruction, but as something alive, something balanced. And maybe that's why this episode feels different. Not because it's bigger, but because it quietly rewrites everything that came before it. This was the Firebending Masters. Which episode do you want to see?